Today we're talking all about the market stats in Hamilton, Ontario for the month of February. Hamilton real estate market has been on a rapid decline since February last year. We had our first rate hike in March of last year. And you know what? If you've been living under a rock and you didn't hear, this week, March 8th, the Bank of Canada announced that they are leaving the rate the same. So a year to the day almost, we've had all these consecutive rate hikes, but finally things have held. They are no longer going to be dishing out pain with these higher rates. They're saying, okay, take a minute, breathe, which is great news. And I'm curious to hear what you think about it. I'm curious to think what you think is going to happen with the rates, how you think this impacts everything. You can drop a comment below. My name is Justin Little, and I make educational videos about the Hamilton real estate market because I am Hamilton's local realtor. And if you find any value from this video at all, be sure to pop a thumbs up on it because this will help propel the video in front of people that want to either learn more about the Hamilton real estate market or people that could benefit from hearing the information in this video. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and join our growing community. Now, before I dive into it, people are always asking how to get a hold of me. If you're looking to get a hold of me, you can go to the link in the description below. There you'll be able to book a call with me at a time that is convenient for you. Now let's jump into this. Residential average price, there it is, $800,000. Now, if you watched last month, you remember the average price was $750,000 in January. In February, it came up to $800,000. That's an increase from last month, but year over year, we're down 21.6%, which isn't terrible. I think if we go back a few videos, I predicted that we were going to see a double-digit drop, probably the largest percentage drop we've seen year over year, and 21.6 is. So it is on track because February was the most expensive time in the Hamilton real estate market. It was the highest the prices had ever been. So even though things have gone down, I mean, 21.6, I don't think that's terrible, but the good news is things have increased from January. So was January the bottom? And now with the rates staying the same, are we going to see a wave of buyers? It's just so tough to tell what can happen. I personally think unless we see a huge wave of new listings to keep up with it, prices are just going to keep going up. People are jumping back in. Last week alone, I had 4 separate buyers go into competition bidding wars on houses. So that's 4 separate buyers, 4 different types of houses, 4 different price points. The market is feeling the effect. Let's look at the total sales from February. 464 units. That is up from January. January was 350 sales. So we're about 100 units more that got sold last month, which is good. It means the activity is picking back up. New listings, 736 listings. This is up by almost 100 units. Last month, it was about 660 new listings. So we're up almost 100 units there. And obviously, we're seeing these big declines. We're down 40% from last year. We're down 30% from last year. Yeah, okay, that's great. We're down. But when we're looking at month over month, I'm focusing on this now monthly micro where we're seeing these monthly increases. So new listings increase month over month. Inventory's 990. Inventory's basically where it was last month. Last month, it was 933. Which makes sense because if we only had, 350 sales last month, so we had an extra 100 and something sales this month, so they would be about the same. More sales, more listings, more sales. They kind of canceled each other out, kept the inventory level around the same. Now let's get to my favorite number here, the months of supply. So anybody that watches these videos, you know that I love this number. If this is your first time tuning in, what this number means is how long it would take every single house on the market to sell if no other houses came up for sale. So this is up 280% from the peak. In the peak of February last year, the months of inventory was about 0.7. So that means, what was that, like 3 weeks, just over 3 weeks was the average months of supply. Now it is 2.1. 0 to 3 is a seller's market. 3 to 6 is balanced. 3 to 5 is balanced. 3 to 6, I guess you call it balanced. 6 plus, you're definitely in a buyer's market. So we're at 2.1. Last month, we were at 2.7. So this has shifted back. We were almost at a balanced market. We were tipping the scale there. And now the market said, okay, let's shift back. We're going 2.1. We're going back into the seller's market. As I mentioned, that's why it's no surprise to see this number because I have had people going into competition in this market recently. As well, average days on market went to 31.2. Last month, it was 38. So houses are selling faster, they're selling for more, and there's more of them selling. So just more and more and more seems to be coming our way. And keep in mind that all of these numbers are before the rate announcement that just happened, which is partially why I wanted to wait to make this video so we could talk about it. But also I was away on vacation, so this is a little bit delayed. I hope you guys don't mind. Let's look at houses by type of house, detached, semi-row apartment. I'm not really focused on semi. In my opinion, they should be bundled in with row houses. But detached is 875, towns 710,000, apartments 455. So they have all gone down. I mean, year over year, detached this month hasn't taken the biggest hit year over year, but detached over the long run since December of last year has taken a big bulk of the hit, just because those typically tend to be the higher price point homes. I actually made a full video on it back in November. You can go back and watch that. But the townhomes are down 21%, so that's pretty much on par with the market. And apartments took the biggest hit, minus 26.5%. So down to 455,000 average price, which I want to touch on something really quick. I'm not going to take up too much time with this, but if you have a budget in Hamilton of 500 to 600,000, let's say 500,000, because these are trading at 455 apartments. If you have a budget of 500,000 and you don't want a condo because I don't know why you don't want to pay the condo fee, I guess, of $400 or $500 a month. If you have a budget of $500,000 and you're looking for a detached house in Hamilton, odds are you're buying a house that's 100 years or more older. So even though you're paying, well, let's call it $500 a month in a condo fee for an apartment, even though you're paying $500 a month, works out to about $6,000 a year. You are going to spend, trust me, you're going to spend more than $6,000 a year in maintaining your over 100-year-old house. So even though you want that detached space, because you're like, oh, condo fees, they don't go to anything. I mean, they go towards the maintenance. You don't have to worry about that. A lot of these condos now include the heat, AC, they include your water. All you're really paying is hydro. So it's not a bad option to go into a condo, and I wouldn't stray away from it, especially if you were a first-time buyer, if you're getting in now on the upswing. Now, I have a friend of mine that purchased a condo on King Street many, many years ago. He bought it back for, it was like 210,000 or something. But he bought it within a year and a half. He ended up selling it after all expenses. He made about 60,000, which he then rolled into a detached property that he's now been in since then. But that's how I'm talking about. When the market's going up, even if you have to just get your foot in the door at 455,000, if that's what you got, just get in it. Because then when the market goes up, you're riding the wave and building that equity instead of trying to sit there and save to build up to then buy. Like, you're just not going to catch up with it. You're not going to keep up with it. And by the looks of things, with the rate staying the same and just the prices going up last month before the rate hike was even, stabilization was even announced, I think things are just going to be crazier. So keep that in mind. Just a quick blurb on that. And then I'm not going to say lastly because one other thing I want to touch on, but the sales price, residential sales by price range. So you can see that the bulk of the sales that happened in February were 600 to 800,000. And in the peak market, it was actually 600 to 800,000. So this seems to be the most popular price point. This doesn't surprise me. Under 800,000, if you have a listing, they are moving very quick. If you are purchasing up to 800,000, you've probably been in competition in the last week. And I'd be surprised. Tell me if you haven't been. Then the next category is 800 to a million, and then a million and under has just absolutely disappeared, which you can actually see the peak in February. Here it is. This is the tell-all. Look, between a million to 1.5 million last year, peak February was the biggest bulk of sales happening. That's what on average people were buying. Now it's come down to under 800. If you're sitting there waiting for the market to crash, you may have missed it because we're going back up now. Average price is up 50K. Rates are staying the same. You may have waited too long. Who knows though? I think the only thing that could stop the rates from going up is if more inventory comes on the market and balances out the demand, but that's going to take quite a bit of inventory to come on to keep up with it. As well, if we look at the months of supply, which is the blue bars here, against the average price, which is the green bar here, the teal bar, I guess it would be, every time we see the months of supply drop, the average price creeps up. Well, months of supply just dropped again, right? Months of supply came down. Look at the last 3 months here. The months of supply has come down. And what's happened with the prices? They've gone up. Okay. So I don't know. To me, it looks like if you started buying in January, if you pulled the trigger in January or December, you got that you did good, because I think we're about to see this boost coming unless the next rate hike does another dramatic hike, or we see a lot more inventory hit the market. The boat of like the bottom of the recession must have been missed. And if you're looking or hoping for pre-pandemic prices, you're gonna miss out. You just yeah. But you might never buy a home. That's all I'm saying. So I'm scrolling through this thing. This PDF here is a 9-page PDF. I'm scrolling super fast through it. But if you want to receive this PDF, you can use any of the ways of communication below to get a hold of me. You can either use that link. We'll have a call. I can email it, or we'll put my my business number down there as well in case you want to reach out. So anyways, I hope that you found this information valuable. Thank you so much for tuning again this week. It is always a pleasure to have you listen in each and every week, or watch, whether you're listening or watching, both. I love and appreciate all of you. Anyways, have a great day, and I'll talk to you again next week.